Hi guys, Jason here from Boull's Travel and welcome to another one of our Caribbean special series, and this time we're going to be taking a deep dive into Grenada. This is going to be part one of a three-part mini series focused on Grenada. So here it is. Hello everybody and welcome to the Jason Boull Travel Podcast, and today I am joined here with Khalif Rashid, who is the Grenada Destination Sales Manager for the UK. Hi, Khalif. How are you doing?
Hello, Jason. I am pretty good. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for you to be here, mate. Thanks for spending time with us. So you're from Grenada, and today we're going to be focusing on, you're representing Grenada, and today you're going to be focusing on a kind of Grenada as an island, as part of our Caribbean series. So we've been looking over the last few weeks of different Caribbean islands, and we've had a Caribbean overview, and it's another one of our deep dives to bring you a lot more information and detail about everything that's happening in Grenada. And all of the things that you're not going to hear about anywhere else is what we're going to try and find a bit more detail now. So, so tell us a little bit to begin, Khalif, about yourself. I said you were from Grenada and you weren't from Grenada. Are you from Grenada?
And so, yes, I am Khalif Rashid, as you've rightfully said. So I'm confirming that indeed, that who you say I am is indeed who I am. I was born in Grenada, and Grenada, it's a tri-island state. It's a tri-island state, meaning it's comprised of the mainland Grenada, and you've got Carriacou and Petite Martinique. All three main islands together make up what we call Grenada. And that's where I was born. I went to school, primary, secondary, and university education in Grenada as well. Yes, I've also had university education outside of Grenada. But yes, I was born there, and I said that to let you know that I have had my formative years in Grenada. So I believe I'm qualified to speak on Grenada in that regard.
So what is it that kind of got you into tourism? What is it that kind of spurred that interest for you?
I think when it comes to tourism, to be truthful, I think it was just naturally the next thing in line. And by that, I mean, I've always been the type of individual or person who was greatly involved in everything Grenada. And we're talking about being involved in the police boy clubs, being involved in the different youth programs. And so I felt that the appreciation I had for Grenada stemmed from having gone through and being part of these various groups, which then led to me being a youth representative, which then led to me working with the Ministry of Youth, which then led to me becoming a Commonwealth Youth Ambassador. And that also led to me becoming the head of the Project and Budget Committee of the Commonwealth and being awarded and recognized for youth-related work. So it was only a matter of time having represented Grenada like that internally and externally. It was only a matter of time before you fall into tourism where you represent the nation in that capacity, so to speak.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Those different things you've done. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. What is it that made you get into those groups then, the youth groups? Were there issues that, within Grenada or things that inspired you to do that? Or was it just you just liked helping? Or
Well, to be honest, I suppose what made me get into the groups, I think, first of all, you have to, when the way we grew up, there were quite a few of us in the house. And I liked it. So you had your cousins, you had brothers, you had sisters. So from a very early age, you were always with, many others.
yeah,
And by that, I think it taught you very great social skills, learning team dynamics, learning how to lead a team, and learning how to be part of a team. And so it was a case of having that experience and that foundation at home that ordinarily led to being parts of other groups. And that's literally, I think, what motivated me to get into these groups.
That's fantastic. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what are you like personally for you? What's the best part about Grenada? And we're going to kind of deep dive into other areas of Grenada in a minute. But for you personally, what do you?
Well, I'll show you where my biasness starts from to answer the question. What is personally for me? What is best about Grenada? The first thing is that I was born
Yeah.
there. Yeah, Grenada for me is it's very special in that place. And I say to people, when I'm asked that question and I answer that question on a serious note, one of the things I like to say is that I have an experience that I can share with you as of today, and you can retread that exact experience if you were to take a plane and go to Grenada right now. And by that, I mean, when I speak of an authentic experience, the same experiences that my grandparents, great grandparents had, and then my grandparents, then my parents, I came along and had this exact same experiences, meaning that the same beaches, the same waterfalls, the same trees that they climb, the same places that they go. I can take you there today and you can have the exact experience. And so we're talking about somehow, whether by intention or default, Grenada has been able to preserve that authenticity for at least 4 generations. And I'm counting myself as the 4th generation. And that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
That
absolutely. Yeah.
everything I can tell you about Grenada, you literally can go back there as of now and experience the exact same thing.
Yeah. And that's so rare today, isn't it? That's so rare anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why when oftentimes we talk about Grenada being unspoiled, undiscovered, these are some of the real experiences we are alluding to.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, we're going to go into more of those experiences in a little while.
Yeah.
Just kind of moving on to kind of a bit more about kind of Grenada's destination, and it's known as the Isle of Spice. But for someone who's never been there, how would you kind of describe Grenada? Apart from it hasn't changed a lot, how else would you describe it in just a few sentences?
First of all, most people, when they hear of Grenada, they also would have heard that Grenada is the Isle of Spice. And the reason we're called the Isle of Spice is because we grow more spices per square capita than anywhere else in the world. We have a very unique history, and we are also recognized as, I like to tell people that, we're practically the diving capital. We're practically an island for many firsts. And so if I were to explain to someone what Grenada is or where Grenada is, I'll simply start up by saying it's a slice of heaven. And I know when we talk about it being a slice of heaven, it may sound cliche because everyone thinks that their home country is that. But I truly say that Grenada is a slice of heaven here on earth, simply because if you go to Grenada without anyone telling you anything about Grenada, the moment time you land, you would feel welcome into the culture, welcome into the social sphere of Grenada, because we have very little resistance into social integration. It doesn't matter where you come from. So the first thing that makes Grenada important is, of course, its people. You have a beautiful land that is inhabited by beautiful people, and this beautiful land inhabited by beautiful people, here they are willing to share it with other beautiful people. You just have to land on our shores. So to answer that question in the simplest of things, Grenada is a slice of heaven that we are willing to share with you. And you just have to accept the invitation and land on our doorsteps. And we take care of the rest.
Sounds brilliant. I want to go now. It sounds brilliant.
And you will be taken care of. That much I promise you.
Yeah. So it said it's called the Isle of Spice. What's the spices that it kind of plays, and over how many years has that kind of gone on?
So when we talk about spices, our chief spice is nutmeg. So recently, we used to be the world's largest exporter of nutmegs. After our experience with the hurricane, that has diminished our stock. So we're now in second place. Indonesia is now the world's number one. And I say it's a title that they hold now. It's only a matter of time before we get back to our initial production capacity. Then we're talking about, so that's that, as I said, nutmeg being our largest spice export. And then we're talking about your vanilla, your tonka bean, your, you name it, whatever spice you can think about, you got that in Grenada. Of course, the ones that come to my mind is those that we are often familiar with, you know. Yeah, that's those are some of the spices in a nutshell. We're of course home to 6 to 7 different chocolate factories, and each of them taking you from the bean to bar experience. So not only are we the Isle of Spice, but we've become the home of chocolate in the Caribbean, and we're home of diving because, as I said before, we're the first for a lot. We've recently been awarded the culinary destination of the world, and with this year we've had the Which Award for Best Caribbean Foodie Destination and Best Caribbean Destination overall. So that's a lot to take on board in a nutshell. And I like to say to people is just you pick your day. That's all you need to do. You pick your day, and we take care of the rest.
Yeah, that's two. I'm learning so much in this whole webcast series myself.
Yeah.
And before we kind of come up with our questions and stuff, you know, we kind of look into a few things. But so much that I'm learning in all these calls. I'm really enjoying the process. The saying about you've got the Culinary Destination Award, you've got the Which Award. These are things that don't kind of come up here on our news streams at all. So it's really cool to find out about them and to learn about them because this is important. It takes an awful lot of effort to create those, and it's something you want to go and see and kind of see why, don't you?
Of course, and I'm happy that I'm able to share that with you and of course the audience that these are some of the accolades. We're home to the world's first underwater sculpture park. We've since expanded on that. And now we have 2, apart from expanding on the first one, we now have a second underwater sculpture park by our sister isle. And just to add another little first again, most people know of the Great Barrier Reef. The second largest reef structure globally outside of the Great Barrier Reef is our sister island called Carriacou. And the word Carriacou itself means reefs. You know, so the largest reef structure in the Western Hemisphere would of course be Carriacou, but globally it would be the second largest reef structure.
Yeah, which brings me on to my next point about Grenada as part of like a tri-nation, and you touched on this very quickly earlier, and you touched on it again there. So just explain these 3 different nations and the difference that it kind of makes.
So yeah, just to jump into the geography of it all, Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique, these are the 3 major islands. And the way I like to explain it is that you have what is often referred to as the Grenadines of Grenada and the Grenadines of St. Vincent. The Grenadines of Grenada and St. Vincent is separated by what is called the Martinique Canal. The Martinique Canal divides the Grenadines between a north and a south line. So that which falls to the south of the line, that is what is referred to as the Grenadines of Grenada. And Grenada has the largest Grenadine island, which is Carriacou. And that which falls to the north of the line falls into the Grenadines of St. Vincent. Thus, you hear about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 32 of the Grenadine islands belongs to the Grenadines of St. Vincent, and 16 of the Grenadine islands belong to Grenada. So although we're a tri-island state with the major islands being Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, we have 16 other islets that makes up the Grenadines of Grenada as well.
You're going to clarify another point I was going to ask you, because in this searching and looking around for it, I thought kind of Grenada, my own I'll call it ignorance if you like, but I thought Grenada was separate to the Grenadines, because I've always heard of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then Grenada has just always been spoken of separately, if that makes sense. It's just how I've always kind of known it here. But it came up that it is kind of joined, so that was really interesting as well, something I was picking up along this process.
Yeah. I mean, and I suppose just a bit of history lesson for those of the audience who are history minded. It all once was under Grenada, and it was at the change of of the different powers. The decision was made so that you now have the splitting, and then you now have the bulk of the Grenadines Island falling into the jurisdiction of St. Vincent, and then you have the St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada Caribbean interlarding.
That's
But
really
that was a
interesting.
decision that was made through the powers that be in times past.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So moving on to kind of travel and logistics and how we're getting around. Kind of what's the main travel routes then from the UK into Grenada?
From the UK into Grenada, we're serviced by Virgin Atlantic and British Airways. British Airways flies out of Gatwick, sorry, and Virgin Atlantic flies out of Heathrow. And we've got 3 flights per week by each of them. However, the third Virgin Atlantic flight is usually added in the high seasons.
Okay.
So 3 times per week, you can catch a flight from either Heathrow or Gatwick to get into Grenada.
Do they time them nicely so they overlap? So there's always a flight going on, or is it not that thoughtful?
So yes. I mean, I would like to say it's the first time I've had to think of it that way, as to whether it's happening daily. But the truth about it is, I mean, to answer the question, you can get to Grenada every day. It just might mean, however, so for example, we've got daily flights going to Barbados. So what that means, if you want to come on a day that you don't have the direct flight, it literally just means going to Barbados and you jump a plane from Barbados to Grenada, which is about, we have very good inter-island flight connectivity. So, and Barbados to Grenada is literally a stone throw away, about less than 30 minutes.
What other islands can you reach from Grenada then by flight?
Every single island in the Caribbean is reachable. You can reach. So, for example, immediately to us, we've got St. Vincent. We have our own Grenada flight operating between Grenada, St. Vincent, and some of the Grenadine Islands. So that's an established flight that's always there, and it's happening daily. Because to get to our sister islands, you either can travel by plane or you can travel by ferry. Most of us prefer to use the ferry because it's scenic, and then of course you get to carry more stuff on the ferry as against the plane, although the plane ride is 10-12 minutes. So there's that. And then we're serviced by other islands where you can go from Grenada to Trinidad, Grenada to Barbados, Grenada to St. Lucia, Dominica. We've got excellent inter-island connectivity.
That's fantastic, because something that is kind of very topical that travel agents do very well is multi-destination stops.
Yeah, twin centering, and we have twin centering happening as we speak, especially between Grenada and St. Vincent, or where there's exploration between Grenada and Barbados, Grenada and St. Lucia, because you've got excellent flight connectivity, inter-island connectivity. Yeah,
it's good to know. When is the best time to visit Grenada, and how does the weather kind of differ?
Well, when people ask me when is the best time to visit Grenada, I often start by saying, pick your festival.
Okay.
Pick your festival. And that is because Grenada, we are at that place where we have practically an entire year of events and opportunities to be part of events. So I like to tell people, whichever day of the year you pick, it more than likely is closely related to a particular festival that you can experience whilst on island. And as far as of course, the biggest of these festivals will be Spice Mass, which is a carnival experience, an authentic carnival experience that you have to come to the island to explore. And we'll probably explore that later on in our chat. And as far as the weather is generally the same for us. Of course, peak season for us is when it's winter over here. It's peak season for us back at home. We've only got two types of weather really. It's either it's dry or wet season. And when we talk about wet season, I'm always quick to expand on that, because most people understanding wet season, they sort of they're sort of informed by monsoons that happens over in the Pacific and these other places. But that's not what wet season is for Grenada. It just means that you're going to be getting a bit more rain than normal. The beauty about it is, however, drying time is quickly. So you can expect that during the rainy season, you'll expect to have more rain falling, but it's nowhere close to any of what the monsoon experiences in the Pacific. That's not what it is.
Okay, so it'll pour down for 10 minutes, half hour, and then stop and dry up again, and sky's clear.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. What does the kind of island offer for different types of travelers, like luxury seekers, families, adventurers, those types of things?
Well, we've got something for everybody, to be truthful. Of course, the typical hotel offering in Grenada, it's boutique hotel offerings, and that is kind of the brand of Grenada's hotel experience. And then you go from fine or the very exclusive all the way down to the affordable. We have more, we tend to cater a lot to the luxury market. But that being said, however, from the US market and these other places, we focus more on the lesser offerings, and when I say lesser offerings, is anything below the ultra luxury market. Coming out of the UK, a lot of luxury focused sales happen. So just letting folks know that. But outside of that, from our other markets, we're anything below luxury. That being said, however, we do have your regular 4 stars, 3 stars. We do have these kind of experiences. As far as experiences, so we go from the luxury market. We cater for families, we cater for kids, we cater for solo travelers. And at the moment, as we speak, we're now looking into exploiting niche opportunities, whether that's for wedding/romance, inspired travel, culinary travel, travel for high adventure and mid-tiered or basic adventure, travel influenced by diving, and we're making a concerted effort to focus on sustainable travel, having people come to Grenada to experience all that we're doing sustainability-wise and conservation-wise. So we really truly cater for a wider plethora of the market offering, the travel market.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, hi guys, that's the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming up soon. Catch you soon.